Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Joyce Obuesi. In case you're seeing me for the first time, welcome to Joyce's Domain. So today I'll be talking to us about who should come to Canada and who shouldn't come to Canada. Yes, these are my opinions, and I've lived here in Canada for some months, and in the next couple of months it will be 1 year. Just like that, God has been faithful. So this is me bringing to you to let you know who shouldn't come to Canada. Canada is a beautiful place. Canada has a lot of kind people. In fact, I need to let you know, Canadians are very, very friendly. Canadians are very friendly. Yes, they might not be your friend, but they're actually very, very friendly. So let's just dive right in. First on my list are the socialites. Here in Canada, it's not like as if fun is not available. It's not like as if we don't have events here in Canada. But compared to where I'm coming from, my home country, Nigeria, where we can party even on a Thursday, we can party on a Monday evening, it's not available here. In fact, most people have a certain routine. Their schedules are usually like from home to their workplace, from workplace to church and back home. And sometimes it could even be from your home to your workplace and back home. So if you're that kind of person that you're used to always partying, every Saturday you're attending one party or the other, every Sunday you're attending one party or the other, Canada might not be the best place for you. It's not like as if we don't have events here, like I mentioned earlier, but look towards summertime when people are having parties, birthdays, weddings and the rest. But now that it's winter, most people just avoid the cold, so they go from their cars to wherever they're going to, back to their cars. If they need to pick up something from the store, they go to pick it up and go back home. So life here in Canada is not for the very, very social people where they want to attend parties, they want to go clubbing every now and then. It's not available here. You can go to the pub, whatever is your choice. You can go to church, yes, but it's not like where I'm coming from, Nigeria, where we can attend parties. Owambe is something you look forward to. In fact, nowadays you can even party on a Monday evening. You can have your wedding reception on a Tuesday evening. It is what it is. So secondly, if you are allergic to cold, before we came to Canada, I watched a lot of vlogs, I did a lot of research. I just wanted to prepare my mind of how it's going to be here in Canada. Now, where I live here in Alberta, when it's cold, it's really cold. When it's warm, it's really warm. That's in summertime. So at the moment, we're still in winter. So far, the weather is still within minus 20, minus 25. We've not gotten to minus 35, minus 40 yet. And from the news going around, from what I've heard, that sometime in February or ending of January, it might get that cold. But one beautiful thing about the province where I live in is, so far, if it gets very cold within in 1 week, the following week might get a bit warmer. It's usually like that. If you have an allergy for cold, maybe when you're in a very cold place, you get sick or something, you're just allergic to cold, my province might not be ideally a place you should stay. There are other provinces that have warmer weather conditions, like British Columbia, Ontario. Yes, there's some other places. If you know any other place in Canada that is not as cold as Alberta, Quebec, some other places, please help me put it in the comment section so that our viewers can even do their research about such provinces. But basically, if you're allergic to cold, my opinion, Canada might not be the best place, because here in Canada we have longer cold periods than the summertime is just like 2 to 3 months. Yeah, let me just say 3 months. And while the cold season has longer periods. Thirdly, if you are nonchalant about the welfare of your children, I don't think Canada is a place for you to come. You could try out other countries, but Canada is really, really big on children's welfare. Yes, in fact, on the scale of preference that I've found out here in Canada is Canadian government and the people of Canada give high preference to children than adults. So if you're that parent that maybe you don't have time for your children, if your children go to school or not is none of your business, whether your children are sick, you don't even care, you don't have time for them, sorry, Canada is not the place for you to come, because Canada is really big on child care and child welfare. So please, coming here as a parent, make sure that you put your child's welfare in top priority in whatever you're doing, in the decisions you make. Make sure that your children's welfare is being taken care of. Because if the government finds out that you are not paying attention to your children, oh, they're coming to take your children. They're coming to take your children, and that's not what we want. So fourth on my list is kind people. I think I've mentioned it in one of my vlogs about Canadians being very kind. Canadians are very kind people. In fact, I've experienced it firsthand. Canadians are very kind people. They are so welcoming, especially when they know that you're a new immigrant. Yes, they want to make sure that, are you okay? Okay, in fact, let me give you a simple example. You see two people walking down the road and they're about to enter into, let's say, a mall or a store, and then a Canadian is like few steps ahead. Do you know that when the Canadian gets to the door, even if he or she has entered, the Canadian will hold the door for you to enter? It doesn't matter if you're a child, you're an adult, you're a male, you're female, the Canadian will hold the door for you to come in. Canadians are respectful. They might not greet you the way you're being greeted in your home country. They might call you by your first name, but you see, they always add so much respect to their greetings. Somebody told us when we came that Canadians are so disrespectful, Canadians are this, Canadians are that. I almost believed it because the person had stayed in Canada more than I have. But you see, Canadians are the first to greet. Canadians are the first to say hello. Canadians are the first to say, are you good? So, if you're not a kind person, you will feel odd coming to Canada. You feel very odd. You feel odd because in a place whereby people are happy around you, they are jolly, and you're always frowning. You're suspecting everybody around you. I don't know if it's peculiar with the province I'm in or the community where I stay, but see, compared to where I'm coming from, where everybody's one way or the other is grouchy, is angry, is looking for a way to retaliate even when nothing has been done yet. Do you understand? So coming to Canada, please be kind, so that when you come here, you would enjoy the flow. It will be like something you're used to already. Yes. So number 5, if you are allergic to paying taxes, please don't come to Canada. Please don't come to Canada, because in Canada you pay your tax. Where my home country, I wouldn't say that we don't pay tax, but the seriousness we attach to pay taxes, if you pay, you pay. If you don't pay. But here in Canada, even if you buy a pen, you pay tax for that pen. Even if you buy anything you do, any transaction you make, you're going to pay your tax. In fact, you don't even need to go and pay. They will deduct it for you. So unlike where I'm coming from, sorry, I will always give reference to where I'm coming from because, yeah, that's the example I have. Sometimes some organizations don't even deduct taxes from your salary. Yes, sometimes some organizations deduct and don't remit. But there are still organizations that are diligent and they have good integrity. They deduct taxes from their employees and also remit those taxes to the government. But here in Canada, you must pay your tax. So if you are allergic to paying taxes, don't bother coming to Canada. When I mean allergy, you have a deep hatred. You will not. You have sworn, you have decided, you have made up your mind that you will never pay taxes. Here in Canada, we pay taxes. In addition, I would like to add that language is essential for proper communication. So here in Canada, it is very, very important that you speak English. In fact, I've noticed that even in the immigration process, as a student or as a permanent resident, however you intend to come, there's always a requirement for your language tests. It mustn't be English. It could be French too. But I've seen that most provinces here in Canada speak English. There are some parts of Canada that, yeah, they're not big on English, like Quebec. Quebec is a province that speaks majorly French. Although in Canada as a whole, there are two major languages, that's English and French. So if you can't speak English, you'll be able to speak French. But it's advisable that you'll be able to speak some good amount of English, because you definitely find it hard to get a job. You'll definitely find it hard to go around, maybe use the public transport system. You find it hard to communicate with people. You find it hard to go around. You find it hard to relate with people because there's this huge gap. There's this very huge gap in your language barrier. You're not able to speak English, and not everybody here understands French. So Canada might not be a fantastic option for you if you can't speak English. Yes, you might be able to speak one or two. Your sentences might not be so correct, but at least have some level of good English so that you'll be able to communicate and relate with people. Another thing is, there are people that if they don't see their extended family members every week, sorry, because Canada is far. Canada is over 16 to 20 hours from Africa. So yes, if I'm correct. If I'm not correct, please help me state it in the comment section. But when we're coming here, even though we had two layovers, one long one and one very, very tiny layover, it was still a long journey. It's not like people that would go from Nigeria to the UK in 6 hours, they are there, in the next 6 hours they're back to the country. Canada is far. I'm comparing these coming from Africa. So if you're coming to Canada and you feel that you must see your dad every day, you must be with him, or you must see your mom every day. If you don't see your siblings by weekend, you fall sick. Canada is not a place for you to come, because you would only be able to relate to them over the phone. You can FaceTime, you can do video calls. That's how you'll be able to relate with them. But being with them physically, and you feel that without being with them, there's something wrong, something's going to happen, Canada is not the place for you to be. And lastly, this is very, very, very important. In fact, sometimes people don't like to talk about it, but you see, this is Joyce's domain. I will talk about it. If your marriage is standing with one leg, don't come to Canada. If your marriage, I'm repeating it again, if your marriage with your spouse is standing with one leg, don't come to Canada. Now, what I mean by if your marriage is standing with one leg, I mean if the issues you've been having as a couple from your home country is more than 60%, please don't come to Canada. In fact, don't even travel abroad. Stay back in your home country, because I don't want to be specific to say, okay, it's the husband's fault or the wife's fault, because it's an individual thing. You understand? What works for A might not work for B. For me personally, I am a man's lady. I am not among those that would say I am an independent woman without a man. I hate men. No, I have a man in my life. I love my husband. And I am not among those that will tell you, okay, I'm in my 40s. I can't do without a man. I'm not doing it without a man. I'm not doing it without a man. So if your spouse from back home, maybe speaking from the woman's perspective, if your husband has maybe is a typical traditional man. Personally, I grade men in two ways. You're either a gentleman or a traditional man. For instance, a traditional man would insist that the wife sits with him when he's eating. Or some people will say, kneel down and serve my food. Those are traditional men. The traditional men are people that in between their conversation, you hear them say things like, in my place, we do this. My mother does this. A gentleman is a man that, as far as he loves his wife loves him. Yeah, he's okay. He doesn't care about traditions. He doesn't care about things that have been passed down from generation to generation. He just, in fact, he would even assist his wife in the kitchen. He does chores. Traditional men don't do chores. Gentlemen do chores. So those are how I classify men. So if your husband is a traditional man and you've been living with him beautifully for so many years, yes, you can come to Canada. But if your man is a traditional man that he's very strict on, my wife must cook fresh food for me. Yes, my wife must cook fresh food for me every day. In fact, whatever I eat in the morning, I can't eat in the whole of that month till next month, in Canada here. I don't want you to maybe see Canada as a very rigid place where there's no fun, there's no flexibility. We have a lot of flexibility here. But you see, if your spouse has been complaining about the way you treat them from back home, and they have just been enduring because, one, as a woman, you're not working, you're not doing anything. When she comes to Canada, and she eventually gets something to do, if she is a kind person or she has been very loyal, she'll still be loyal. But see, there are some women that the opportunity of being better, they don't know how to handle it. Yes, I'm a woman, I'm also saying this too. Some women don't know how to manage growth, because some people see growth as an escape route. Once they get that thing they haven't been getting before, they are gone. You understand? So now back to what I was trying to explain before. Now, if your spouse doesn't help you in chores, and then you come to Canada, there's no house help, because obviously maybe back home he wasn't helping her because there were a lot of people there to help and all of that. And when he comes to Canada and he still does not want to help out in the chores, you don't have kids or you don't even have any nanny, because your salary for the month is the same thing you'll be paying your nanny. So coming here, you would see that, okay, you don't really need to have a nanny, especially when you're a new immigrant. You need to watch your finances, watch your spendings, and manage yourself. So if you come here to Canada and Oga says, I'm not going to do those dishes, and both of you are working, both of you have the same shifts, it's going to start causing problems. So you know where your marriage is standing. If you know your marriage is standing with one leg and a half, yeah, trust God, have conversations, talk about it. I'm not a marriage counselor, even though I've been married for almost 20 years. I might have an idea or two, but basically, have good conversations with your spouse even before you relocate. Let there be mutual, love each other. It doesn't cost anything. Forgive. But if your marriage has been standing on one leg, please, when you come to Canada, things will change. Your lifestyle will change, so that it won't be an excuse that, okay, because she has come to Canada now, she has left her husband. Because he has come to Canada now, he has forgotten his family. So know your spouse. Know your spouse. I might not give you the guidelines to say this is how it works. Like I said earlier, what works for A might not work for B. Know your spouse. I know my husband. He knows me. He knows things I can handle. He knows things I can't handle. So know your spouse. I'm not specific to say it's the men's fault, it's the women, because most times we blame it on the men. But you see, we women too. It is well. So that's all I can say. There are some women that when you see the things they do, you just like, what? There are also men too, so it's an individual thing. It's not based on tribe, because I've heard, when I was still in my home country, I've heard people say, okay, these people from this particular tribe are bad at this, while these other people, but meanwhile, when you do a proper research, there are still individuals that are bad eggs among those tribes that have been said to be very, very good. So when you come here, before you even come here, make sure to have conversations, have goals planned out, trust God. Because see, God is the all in all. Like I would always say it, He's the beginning and the end, and everything in between. So trust God, keep praying for your spouse, keep praying for your husband, keep praying for your wife, keep praying for your children. Trust God. When you come to Canada, trust God. Coming to Canada can even be a time whereby you might start having external influence. Influence from friends, influence from old friends. For instance, let me just give you an instance where I heard a story where a couple came to Canada. They don't have children yet. They are trusting God for children. And before you know it, in-laws started. She has still not gotten pregnant. Are you sure she's not taking medication so that she won't get pregnant, so that she'll be able to work and make money and leave you? And then the man started thinking, You see, all those things, when couples relocate, they need your support. They need your help. They need all the love they can get. They are in a place where they have never been before. Most times, they are in a place whereby they've never lived before. It's one thing to just visit a place and go back. It's another thing to actually live there. So if you have a relative, that's not the time to put naughty suggestions in their mind or in the conversations you have with them. Check up on them, love upon them. In fact, if you perceive that maybe there's a need, it doesn't matter even if they are the ones abroad. Send that help. Somebody mentioned to me that she didn't even need to ask, and her mother sent her Gary. Yes, it could be Gary. Gary could be. It's not something big for some people, but here it's huge. And they sent her Gary, and she has been so happy, because the thought of going to an African market to go and buy that Gary is gone, because she has Gary now. So don't just see it as, okay, our relatives are now abroad, this couple is now abroad. That is when you start prying into their privacy. That is when, allow them. It's like a newly wedded couple. You don't just go and start living with them immediately after their wedding. Allow them get to know themselves better, because see, their new surrounding is different from the one they've been used to. The lifestyle here is different. So like I mentioned earlier, so that I don't make this video too long, if your marriage is standing on one leg, please, if you must come, have a proper conversation with your spouse. Discuss about everything and anything, and trust God. Trust God. In fact, be closer to your spouse than ever before. It is not a time where my brother is 9 in abroad, I will need to start calling him 1 million times. My sister is 9 abroad, she needs to start sending me luxury wigs every now and then. Usually when immigrants relocate, you see that time whereby you don't hear from them a lot, they're not on social media, they're trying to find their feet. Sometimes even when they're on social media, they're still trying to find their feet. Relocation is no joke. It's a beautiful thing, but it's no joke. It's something that you need to trust God. So if you have more ideas why people of such shouldn't come to Canada, please feel free to put it on the comment section. I'm available to read through and then respond. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, what are you waiting for? Please click on that subscription button and make sure to press the notification bell so that whenever I upload videos like this, you will be among the first to be notified. So thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. You're absolutely amazing. Please receive this from me. So till next time, when I'll be uploading another video, take good care of yourself.